post right there. No.
You should be standing in the red bucket.
Right. This is the action area right here. So thanks everyone for coming. That's awesome. So we had the open studio for these MICA students today, and everybody sort of said a couple words about their work, so or presented their work. So I have a little demo here that I'm going to give to you guys. I'm going to talk for a little bit today about completing the task. So I know a lot of you all, or most everybody, is an artist here, or a curator, or an art student, or whatever, and I think that this will be beneficial to us all, because I think, we all have questions about how to complete the task, and hopefully this talk today will help demystify the process of completing the task a little bit. And I'm going to talk in some really simple, sort of obvious terms about completing the task, and I won't use any words bigger than demystify. So I have it set up here. Obviously this is going to look a lot different when you guys are in your space or in your house, and you're going to see that all of our tasks are different. Your task is not going to look the same as my task or whatever. So I have this set up here, and I'm just going to kind of go right after it. The first thing I wanted to talk about is preparedness. Now, of course, that's really, really important. And we all have done this before, and we're going to do it a lot of times again. So you know some of the basic things that you need, okay? So when I'm here and I'm getting prepared to start, I've got this, so I know I need this. I need this as well. Sometimes I need this. So you have some basic things that you definitely know that you need, but then some people like to personalize it. Again, your task is not going to look like this. Your setup's not going to look like this. Some people want to wear this. Some people want to even wear these. This maybe is not necessary right now, but it might be for you guys, at some point. And I know I need this. Myself, I'm just gonna wear like an old shirt or something here and socks because I don't want to get my shoes wet and everything. But so this is kind of how I stand, and some of this stuff will help you psych yourself up for completing the task, and sometimes you have to do that, right? Okay, so you have these things, and then well, of course we're gonna need this, but we have some tools here, right? Now I brought all these. And once again, you're going to personalize kind of the tools that you want to use. And I have a lot of stuff here. Ultimately, completing the task is really going to be about making decisions, right? So that's where this stuff is kind of important. So you're going to have to choose what you want, because this gives us options, right? You're going to have to choose what you want and have it right there next to you, as an option. So this can actually kind of get a little bit complicated, because first I have to make some decisions about what the tools that I want to have that are going to influence what the decisions I make when I'm completing the task. And that kind of can go on and on or something, and that can be problematic. So try to make it simple for yourself. You maybe don't need as much stuff as this. If you only have one thing, then you're only going to make one decision or two decisions. If you have a lot of stuff, you're going to be probably making more and more decisions with that. So you can kind of choose and see whatever works out for you. But it's important to have this stuff right here, because it's beneficial, because then we can make when everything's in arm's reach, we can sort of make the task. The decisions will come quicker with a little bit more fluidity, I think, and that's really important. I don't want to be here and say, oh, damn, I wish I had I don't want to get up and run for the paper towels or answer the telephone, or my cigarettes aren't within arm's reach or something like that. So that's pretty important, okay? So that's just a couple words about preparedness. Now, you're going to have your material. Now, this is the important stuff here. I gathered some stuff from around here, and these have been sitting here for a while. So this is pretty bad, This is scary, I don't want to do this. I know that that's going to be difficult, but these are some of the things that we have to deal with when we're completing the task, right? Again, your stuff is not going to look like this stuff, okay? You have your own stuff in your own space, and your task is going to be totally personalized for you. Hopefully it's not that hard. or hopefully it's not that easy, but it's going to look completely different. And when I see this, I'm scared of this, but I know that I'm not going to fail the task. I mean, it's not that failure is not an option, it's just that failure, it doesn't exist for us. So once you kind of get that sort of thinking, then I think it's really helpful. Even though your task is completely different than mine, nonetheless, these are some strategies that you're going to be able to use when you're in your own space, right? So, so some of it's going to be difficult, some of it's going to be a lot easier. And then, I'll just talk about starting. I mean, first of all, we're all really anxious, man. This is something that we don't want to do, even though we've done it probably 100 times before, and we're going to do it 100 times in the future. I mean, still, you have this anxiety about starting, and the anxiety can probably be good. I think this can be useful to us a lot of the times because it helps us start. We don't want to put it off. I mean, starting is really important, and it's the hardest thing to do. So once you get started, and once you start thinking like you're not going to fail, then things kind of become a lot easier. I think it's important to realize before you start that this really isn't, completing a task really isn't like a goal-oriented activity, right? I mean, it's something that the ultimate goal is to finish it. And I mean, that's really the gist of it. You want it finished so you can move on to the next task, I mean, basically. And you're not going to fail at finishing it. I mean, you'll finish it. You might not finish it today, or you might have to wait an hour, or you might have to finish it tomorrow, but once you realize that you're going to finish and not going to fail, it's not so bad. So yeah, it's scary, but yeah, use that anxiousness and anxiety to start. And once you start taking action, then things always get really easier. So I'm looking at this, and do I want to start with this one? Probably not. Like this one looks a lot easier. This one might have already been done. I don't know if Maria already did this or something, but then this is something else that we have to deal with, and this is good. I'm not scared of this. So I mean, I think that I would like to do this one first. So this is pretty easy. So really, I mean, starting is difficult, but once you kind of just go after it, right? And then it's like you kind of just go after it and start trying things that you already know, because we've all done this before. So when you just start going after it like you already know how to do it, or maybe you want to start doing it because doing something the way you saw somebody else do it, because you saw somebody else do it and it was kind of like working or whatever. So maybe you want to try that. So when you have something easy like this, so that's already done, and I did two things, So that one only took like 2 or 3 decisions, right? So that was cool. I mean, I'm staying focused while I'm doing this. I mean, I'm present here, which I think is really important. I think it's I'm focused. I'm engaged with what I'm doing, and it seems to be working out for the most part, but I think it's important to say that I'm not in any kind of trance right now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm completely conscious with this. Like, this isn't something where, like, we're emptying our head out, or we're leaving our body or something like that. We're not trying to, I don't know, tap into any kind of, like, creative spirit or use the force or anything like that. I mean, we all have the ability to do this totally on our own, I mean, I'm here. I'm not listening to the baseball game right now, you know what I mean? I'm not having a conversation with like Steve or Marie. I don't have the coffee that I'm waiting for like over there or whatever. So, I think it's important just to not lose track kind of what you're doing. And then kind of goes a lot better. I mean, I kind of get into this a little bit, right? I'm not thinking about the phone or the girls from Micah that are visiting us today. I'm trying not to, or whatever like that. So like I said, we don't need to leave our bodies, or we don't need to meditate or do the conscious breathing or anything like that. So let me get this one real quick. So I guess try to stay active here, but I'm losing my rings. I guess I wanted to say a couple words about hastiness, haste also, when we're completing the task, because I think that can be useful to us as well. Sometimes you kind of feel yourself getting frantic with things, right? You know, when you're completing the task, I know you guys always do, and that kind of makes it harder to deal with, yeah. So this is why, that's actually like, maybe I should have used the mask or whatever, but that's okay. So I'll do that with that, I'll do that with this, and like I said, these are the hard ones, man. I don't want to do this. I really don't want to, but I know that I'll finish with it, you know? I know that I'm not going to fail. I'll just put this in here. So hastiness. It's like a basic tenet for me to complete the task. I mean, it's so important. I think it's important for a lot of reasons, and one of them is basically the faster you do some shit, the more that quicker you're going to finish, right? And that's the ultimate goal with this, is just to finish it and move on with something else. Hastiness is important when you're making the decisions too. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we were prepared with this stuff, is so we can be more hasty with it. So that's one of the reasons that it's good, is because, you know, it changes the decision making a little bit. But also, we're able to stay engaged with what we're doing better when we're working for a short period of time and we're working quicker, right? So I think that that's great. Basically, I'm all for planning out what you're going to do before you start doing the task. Last night I was thinking about what I was going to do today. All day I was thinking about what I was going to do today. But right now I'm not, you know what I mean? I wouldn't recommend stopping in the middle and trying to make these quality judgments, like about the decisions that you're making, sort of thing. Because that's just going to slow you down and stuff, and then you maybe try to influence too much the decisions and stuff, and they don't come around. It ends up being like a little bit more fabricated, I suppose, or something like that. But you know, the hesitation and the considering and the influence, it's hard. I mean, sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be bad. I mean, you guys will see. So this is very difficult for me right now. You know, this isn't working. But this is okay, you know, because I know what? We're not going to fail at this, you know? Can always come back to it. So frustration ends up being a big part of it as well, you know? We feel ourselves getting frustrated a lot. And that's okay, you know? That's part of it. I mean, I was just working real well there. I was getting into that for like 5 minutes, but now this is getting a little bit harder, and this feels kind of shitty, and this is a bitch, you know? So sometimes you have to stop, right? That's all. Sometimes you have to stop and find some way to refresh the practice, find some way to refresh the completing of the task, you know? And sometimes that's easy, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's as simple as stopping and then doing the game, or doing the coffee, or drinking a Red Bull, or whatever, or I can just go outside and smoke a cigarette, and sometimes that works. Sometimes you only have to stop for 10 or 15 minutes before you complete the task. Sometimes you're really tired, or you're hungry, or you have to go to the bathroom, or whatever that is, and you just have to do that, you know? And that's totally fine too. Sometimes you have to go home and come back to it tomorrow. You guys have all experienced that before. So the frustration, I mean, can be good. Sometimes the frustration can help you with the decisions too, so you want to try and stick with it for a little bit longer, but you know when you need to stop, basically. Okay, so this is actually great here, because this is a really good example, because this can't be done right now. I'm tired of doing this, this is too hard, and I'm going to stop, you know? Forget it. And it's not like, I mean, I'm tempted to just scrap this right now and just say I'm not going to finish, but I don't need to do that. I think if this sits here and stirs overnight or whatever, I think I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. In fact, I know I will be able to finish it tomorrow. I think that will work out fine. And then I can go and do whatever I need to do. You know, if I want to stop and go to the yoga class or whatever, if I want to go out to a bar or just go home and watch television and the Netflix and everything, then I know that I will probably be doing that, but I'll be thinking about the task in the back of my mind. You know, probably the whole time, like all night tomorrow. And I'll be maybe thinking about some different strategies that I can use. And I said, what didn't I do today? I didn't use this today, but perhaps this could have been really helpful to me. I should have tried this. You know, so that will be the first thing that I come and do tomorrow. So this isn't going to bother me tonight. You know, I know that I will be successful at this tomorrow. So I think it's pretty rad, you know. And if you start, you know, thinking about things like this a little bit more, it makes the task not so much of a bitch. It makes starting not so hard. It makes you realize that getting frustrated or getting frantic can be helpful and stuff. And then eventually, you end up with a bunch of completed tasks, you know, and that's like so rad. You know, that's what it's all about. Finishing up, and then you move on to the next one, and then you got a bunch of stuff everywhere. So that's basically it, you know. So I'm not really going to take any questions, I guess, but if anybody needs help with their artist statements, I'll be happy to look at it for you. Thank you. It's not me, man. It's nothing. You guys can all do it. Maybe think about some of the things that I talked about.
I cleaned that kitchen downstairs quite a lot. I'm going to be sending an email out soon to people about the refrigerator must be emptied after Thanksgiving. I'm going to clean.
So if you start thinking about that like this, then that can give you some tools to deal with that type of stuff, you know? And I think, you know, hopefully that can be beneficial to all of us.
So art isn't.
Dave, you're not taking any questions?
No. No. Why? What do you? I feel like you're gonna heckle me.
I gotta go back.
No.
I think that was your cup, though.
No.
They get a question if it was his cup?
What?
I drink out of plastic and.
Well, you design your own task, man. You know, you design your own task. Your task ain't gonna look like my task. So cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That was fun.
It was mold.
Did you do that with the knife? Dust
I know.
For 8?
That's what you do when you take a I can show you guys some of my paintings too if you want to see them.
Oh, geez, that's such a hassle. $10.
And tubes like.
There's 6 right there. They're all the same, so you don't have to look for them. Should I stop the tape, Jordan, or
No.
just let it go?
Is it open those things?